Hello, I am Max Nightingale, and before I get into this, I'd like to quickly apologise if you hear any noises outside. I don't know why. I have no clue, really. But somebody is setting off fireworks outside the dorm building at 12? 12 during the day. Look, do you see that? Bright, happy, sunny day, and someone's setting off fireworks. You hear that? I'm not sure if a camera can pick it up, but another one just set off. What possible use? Unless they're playing some sort of game, which either could be technical terrorism or low-key a sick game. If everyone's consenting, and the game is just, fucking firework dodgeball, count me in. Firework dodgeball, that sounds sick. I mean, I'm not that far. Well, no, I am actually really fast. I don't have great reaction speed, so I am getting hit. But I think as long as I pad up on clothing, I should be all good. There goes another. They sound like they're going up there. That's the only thing that's confusing. I don't know how I can tell what direction the fireworks go in. Anyway, anything else? There is a big old fat mess. Now it looks like a big old fat mess, but there's a reason. It's because Mr. Wireman here in the next episode needs to emerge from that, which I need to film. So in case you haven't gathered, this is going to be me making projects and talking through the projects. I have this one in mind that I'm currently working on. I've got a bunch of bits and bobs. I brought these foam tubes from home. They're really nice. These nice long bits of fabric. A lot of material for a very cheap price. I got this for about £1, £1.50. Very nice. You can break it open, flatten it out, so you've got like this flat bit. It's still slightly rounded, but still great. I always thought that like something like that could be a great like plate armor or something if it's like that, but it's not what I'm using it for today. Actually, I want to keep it more as the tubes for today. Also, if you get the edges and tear off the outer layer, it looks so rigid and rigid. It makes some great monster scales for any fantasy armors out there. Not that I've ever actually made any fantasy armor. I got some of that. I got some bits and bobs. Tell you what. Come here. Excuse the mess. I'm not gonna clean it up. But yeah, up here I've got a bunch of bits and bobs, and a bunch of metal, and these doohickeys, which they're gonna be very useful soon. I got a lot of stuff, a lot of material. Now you're probably asking, what am I making? No, you're not. Oh my god, I can. Oh, this is a nice camera. Oh, that's a nice, cool camera stand. AKA phone tripod. But yeah. I did not realise it span. So today what I'm going to do is probably mostly concept design and like bare bones in it. But I'm going to try to make this thing called the Wireman. Not to be mistaken for the... This is another one of the only issue with the Wireman, is that these two things, the pencil and bits of notes, keep falling out. I tried to put some like sellotape and stuff in there, but I keep forgetting. But not to be mistaken for the Wireman, this one is going to be this bigger thing. It's life size here. I'm working on the mask. What I'm going to do, the mask is going to be the only bit made out of clay, which I've got. Nice heavy lump of clay. Got that from the works if you need anything. The wire I also got from the works. But I'm going to be using some other wire because a lot of this wire is very thin stuff. On Amazon you can find this thicker stuff. I've got a few of that up on my project shelf. That's what I made the wireman out of. See, you can see the difference in thickness, and because of that, this bends nice and easy. However, this is a bit more rigid and tough. And the rigid and toughness is what I do want for this craft, at least a lot of it, because there's going to be a lot of wire and a lot of things. It's got to stand up straight. Plus, clay is heavy, so shove that on top of everything else I've got going. The wire needs to make sure it can hold its place, and the whole idea is I've got the story in mind. I will possibly tell you bits and bobs about the story whilst we make it, but for now, all you really need to know is I've got a plan in my book, and yeah, we're going to be trying to make a wireman. First things first, I'm going to put you up on the top of my shelf facing down so you can actually see my workplace. Hopefully that works. That worked pretty nicely. Oh, lovely. So, this is what we got at the moment. Wireman, wire mask. I did not film myself making this because I made this in my university. I got the mask from the works as well. Most things are from the works because it's the only craft shop I found around here. And yeah, my idea for the mask so far is some bits like this little bit here, this little doohickey here, and this like clump of wires coming out. That's going to be outside the clay, and there's going to be some broken off bits of the clay as well. I'm thinking like they're having a bit of the clay kind of coming off. Other than that, most of it's going to be covered in clay. The wire is mostly there for aesthetic. The eyeballs where there is going to be no clay, and also later if there is cracks or if I crack it during filming, then there is wire underneath, makes it look a bit more aesthetically. I'm doing a lot of hand gestures, as you can see, because I'm trying to be more interesting for the camera, because I know full well currently this is just looking at my hands playing with a mask. So yeah, I'm going to move that to the side. You can see the wires. I'm hoping to have these either to help connect it, so these are going to be the bits that connect from the wire man to the wire body, like the head to the body. Or it's going to be really cool if I can get these moving. But yeah. So, right at the back of the book, I got this, which is the story for Ryan, some character things. Got a lot of story bits for it, as you can see. Nice, good bit of writing going on. Ignore that, that's for the franchise. That is a long off project. That's probably not going to happen. What I'm going to be doing is, I wonder if I can, do I rip it out? What's on the other side? I'm going to start a new page, just because I don't want that page ripped out of the book. Let's go this one. So what I'm going to do first is, okay, ignore that. When I'm like feeling a bit stressed, I do like that, and then eventually it kind of just expands, and I try to make art out of it, and then it looks really freaky every time. I'm not mentally disturbed. No, I'm joking. But anyway, so the wireman, I need some concept art to get my mind jiggering here. I've got these bits and all these other bits. I've got wire, clay, got everything I need for it. But what am I doing for it, you know? Is this going to be the body or the legs? That type of stuff. So, just going to do some doodles. One idea I did have was I'm going to have the joints. So, right now I'm drawing a little bit of a leg. Seeing these tubes to be used as, like, limbs. There should be enough that, because, like, you know, bow, and then, bow. Just over arm length, so I could use it as them, but the joints I'm going to have only a few bits of wire for, That way it's a bit easier to do. So the rest of it is going to be covered in wire and whatnot. But the joints, there's only going to be a few bits. Yeah. And the mechanic of this guy, right? I love the mechanic. It's going to be kind of like a weeping angel. However, instead of wanting, you know, I'm gonna send you back in time. Nah, instead, it's gonna be, I want your skin. Please. Can I have your skin? Okay, already I'm facing a bit of a problem with this first design. I'm not overly sure if I like the body. So if I use both of the things for the arms, then I've got I've only got 4 tubes up with me. I could get some more, but I don't know where the nearest, I think B&Q is where I got it from. Don't know where the nearest one is. What is that? Who knows? I always keep my window open, so I hear weird noises all the time. Let's quickly do a finished drawing of this guy. Is there anything else to note? Oh, the feet. I got very... So if I just do a normal foot like that, you know, then the issue there is going to be stability. As I learned from the Wireman, normal feet are really awkward because then you've got to bend it like that way. Otherwise, they just fall back. So I'm going to add a back bit to the feet, almost like freaking claws. Like that. Then maybe some wires crossing the 2 toes. Maybe I'll do 3, not sure. But anyway. Here's the Wireman. And the okay, Drawing 1 is not very good. Let me lift him up for you. And also, he's upside down. I might flip that in post. I do not know. Okay, this is the Wireman currently. He does not look good. He actually doesn't look that bad. Not gonna lie. I also I showed you the tube, the little black tube. Compared to the foam things, the foam is much thicker than the tube. But with the tube, the advantage I have is, first of all, it looks cooler in black. Second of all, it's actually, originally, if you put it together, it's a Grim Reaper's scythe. I found it at Poundland. That is a lie. There is a craft place in my dorm. Not my dorm, my uni. And I found this. So I was like, oh, that's cool. Great for the Wireman. If only there was more of it. So I then went home for the weekend, went to a Poundland, and you never guess what I found. They had, for £1, a second. So now I have 2. And again, I forget this is upside down. So either you're watching this all upside down, or I flipped it. Knowing me, I probably haven't flipped it. It's not going to be well edited, because right now I just want to get some ideas out. This is just going to be pure content on my mind, what happens. Later, I'm going to make a more edited down version of this so you can see what happens quicker, and it can be like a quick tutorial. I thought it'd be a cool idea to, I don't know. I always find that I want to make things, and I don't actually know how to. And there's always those YouTube videos out there which are like, here's how you make this. But sometimes it's like, you want something very specific, and you don't actually know how to do it. So this is just going to be me figuring out how to do stuff. Like the Wireman, there is probably, I'm probably going to jinx it now, and there probably is like 5 people who have. There's probably not many people, if any, who have made a wire man. I don't know. But I'm going to try to figure it out myself, and let you guys come along for the ride. And yeah, it's going to be roughly based off of me, like my proportions and stuff. However, I'm going to try and make it bigger. I would quite like this thing to be like quite this big, cool, imposing thing. I'm like decently tall. I'm not entirely sure. I don't measure or anything. Because as everyone always says, size does not matter. So yeah, I think you can see somewhat what the design is going to be. Some base structure with a fudge ton of wire around it. Kind of similar to the way I made the wire man, you know. Now, something I've been thinking about is the hands. I know at least one of them is going to be a normal hand because I want him to grip stuff. Maybe 3 fingers, because 3 fingers is going to be easier to animate and also kind of looks cool. And also I'm lazy, and again it will be easier to animate. Well, I'm not going to be animating this guy because he's a weeping angel. It's more articulate, you know, because then I can like instead of having to go you know. 3 is better than 4, maybe, I don't know. But then what about the other hand, you know? Just add a mother chuck in Grim Reaper's scythe. I don't know. I do have to say I like the thicker body, so zoom in on this. Yeah, I could have a base tube. So as it's like spine of sorts, do you reckon its spine will need to move? It'd be cool if it could move. So maybe I can cut it into a few sectors, and then each one will be able to move. Chuck a little bit of wire going down the middle of it to be like a little spine. That I'm going to need some thick stuff for, because, you know, that's the big stuff. Maybe I can get some garden wire. That's one thing I was trying to look for when I went home, but I could not find any garden wire. It's much thicker. That would be great as like the base endoskeleton of sorts. But yeah, I might take a little bit of advice out of FNAF and armor stands and stuff. Go something like that. Be a nice little base. See what I'm trying to say? 1 down, 2 across. That gives me actually a spare one, and because this is going to be about shoulder length, if I lean in, my shoulders only go about that far, so, you know, I could probably get 2 shoulders in there. Hips probably a bit thinner, so if the hips are thinner, then these 2 is probably 1. That would be 1, which leaves, I got 4 of these, 6 of these, because there are 3 bits to the thing. Because of that leaves me with 6 of those and 2 of those to work for the arms, which would be great. Maybe get a bit for the neck, but I reckon the leftovers from this will probably be good enough for the neck. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. I do have a bit of garden wire. Let me grab that quick. Let me pause. Okay, I didn't pause you. I turned you off. That doesn't matter. There'll be no difference. But now there are 2 videos. Next thing is I'm going to show you the wire, and we're going to play a fun game. Each time the wire is going to get increasingly worse until you're eventually like, how are you going to use that? And this is going to be fun. So starting off, we've got probably the most useful thing. I've got this nice thick wire. I'm not sure if it's let's see, about the same thickness as the Wireman, which is very nice. If I can get some out here. Bends fairly easily, but not too bad. So this is going to be very useful. Next, I've got a few scrap pieces that I've got from the little wire head, which I'm going to add to the wire head. I'm probably going to add a bit of the thick stuff as well for a bit of biodiversity of sorts. Next, I believe this is chicken wire. I don't know, or what is it? Wire netting. First of all, this looks really cool. On its own, could be a leg. You know, it's got all that cool stuff. Does it bend? No, it does not. So probably gonna have it a bit thinner, or have this as just one of the joints. No, not joints, bones. So I've got that, and I've got 2 of them. Honestly, I'm not sure how much use I'm gonna get out of that, but still. Next, I'm not sure if you guys have seen my other works and my other pieces, but I have this thing, Homeless Pete, I've nicknamed him. The one with the big nose that kind of looks like a mix between Despicable Me's Gru and a plague doctor, mixed with like weird fleshiness. But on the back there's the spine. This bit of wire here I've had left over from the spine for absolutely ages. Now, what can I do with this? Maybe shoulder panel. I was thinking for a bit, like a crown type thing, but I'm not sure. Nah, it doesn't look good. So yeah, this will probably go somewhere on the body to add just a bit of thickness. It can bend. It's a bit hard. So this I'm going to probably want to put somewhere where it won't move too much. Maybe the shoulders. The shoulders would look good with that. And then the big thing. I'm not sure if I ever... I don't think I've uploaded anything about this. But a few months, years back, I don't know how long, I thought it was a good idea to try to make a wire mannequin. I got about halfway through when I suddenly realised I have no use for it. So, I folded it up into a clump of wire. This has garden wire. It's got all sorts of wire in it. I also have this little thing. I'm not quite sure I was going for that. Yeah, I have this abomination of wire that I might need to untangle. Because here it's got some nice thick garden wire. It's actually very nice because I was worried that it wouldn't be as malleable as I'm hoping. Because I do want to be able to move this thing quite a lot. So yeah, for the next bit, I'm probably going to be trying to sort this out. I'm probably going to stop talking at some point. I just thought, you know, might as well talk about what's going on whilst I work. And then when I run out of things to say, just fast forward it. How's this little bit of wire here, this tiny little bit, how is that harder to move than this big boy? Who knows? Why is it very peculiar material? Because the garden wire feels dreadful on your fingers. I'm glad that I don't have to touch this guy much. But yeah. The idea came to me, honestly, from the Wireman. And that came from a little thing I used to do. I'd make little wire trees. They were really fun to make. They're still one of the things that I love to do. Just occasionally, if I get the opportunity to, I like making a little wire tree or two. They're fun. Ooh, that's a nice bit there I can get off. Oh, look at that, I'm uncurling it. But yeah, I used to make wire trees, which is really easy. Just get a clump of wire and together, and then sometimes I would put them in different directions and stuff, so twirl it around in different directions from the tree. In that way, it'd just, you know, be a bit more secure. Wouldn't look quite as nice and neat, but it'd be a bit more secure. Yeah. But yeah, I used to make wire trees, And then I thought, hey, I can make a wire man. Then I did that stop motion, the wire man. I like the wire. I called it the wire man. I don't know why I called it the wire man. I think I just thought, you know, little wire guy. That is the wire man. And then I realized, actually no, this would not have a gender. The wire man would be a wire them, but you know, I didn't quite know how to do that. So I knew how to do that. Sorry, I'm sometimes bad with words, so pre-warning for that. Anyway, yeah, I wanted him to be the wire man, but I also wanted them to be a them. Also bad with pronouns, so I'm going to mispronoun the wire man. A lot of times I'll view like characters that, especially ones that I make like the wire man, as myself, so I'll just kind of use my own pronouns. Not that any of this matters because it's a fictional wire creature that I'm building. This wire man will be a wire man, but only a wire man because the main character views it as a wire man. God, I'm making no sense. But anyway, so the wire man is the wire man, which, I don't know, I think it meant something in some language. I don't know, I called it that because man, rather than man. You know, the one with balls. Anyway. It's actually coming apart fairly easily, so I'm getting like nice big strings like this. I got a nice big one here. Just untangling it all. You don't need to see all this, but just grabbing my resources at the moment. Funnily enough, I'm probably, when I've done this, I'm going to fold it up again. So I am just going to undo all my progress, but this time it's going to be a bit of a neater fold. What is going on here? Oh my god, there is so much wire. And I have no idea what bit's what. Because it's all silver, it blends together. Fireworks at least have seemed to stop. Not that there should have been any reason for fireworks in the first place, but still. So yeah, gonna untangle this lot. And then this is going to be used as the base with bits of foam and the Grim Reaper's scythe as the, what's it called? As the, my mind is gone blank again. Sorry about that. Sometimes I will speak so much that my brain doesn't keep up, so I can speak faster than I can think. And when I do that, right, my mind goes on autopilot, and I just kind of say whatever's, like, I just say placeholder words, hoping my brain catches up with what I was trying to say, and then just start saying it again. However, because of that, sometimes I will start talking about absolute nonsense because I'm just in autopilot for words whilst my brain's trying to catch up. And in cases like that, well, I just start rambling. So yeah, I am the wire man. This is just going to be gathering materials for this episode. Later today, I'm going to take a look at a filming society, hopefully an animation society. So that's going to be fun. So yeah, I don't quite have time to properly start, especially if I'm untangling all this. I'll probably, even though I am going to record untangling some, just so you can kind of see that stuff like this can be ow! Oh, crikey, that's my thingy. Oh, Yeah, be careful with wire as well. You should probably use gloves if you try to replicate this. I don't, because I'm not as responsible as you will be. Listen to my instructions, don't do as I do, do as I say. Whatever. It's gonna tell you not to listen to instructions, but you know, it's more just don't follow my way. In case you can't see what I'm doing, I'm just following it along, and when I see, oh, this bit's, I've reached dead end, but like here, there's this bit of wire here, and it's just tied round, so I'm just undoing that, just wrapping it around the opposite way, and when I've done that, I can pull it apart, and now I've got this bit off, follow it down to wherever it goes next, and, oh, I might be able to actually get this bit out as well. Just give it a push, maybe. See where the next bit is. For normally what I do is unravel it. But here there's this clump, which actually I can just undo the clump, which is going to be easier than just pushing the wire through, which was I was gonna do. Just gonna, you know, just force the wire to go through the clump. But yeah, what I'm gonna do, move bits of it out the way. Again, I know you can't see it very well, but just trust me, this is what's happening. Actually doing surprisingly well. I thought this would be a much more daunting task than it's becoming. It's somewhat therapeutic. I'm one of those weird people who like untangling knots. I remember what I used to do when I had wired headphones. I would always mix them up and put them in my pocket and scramble them up. So at the end of the day, if I've had a long day, I can reach in my pocket and I'd have like a little, almost like puzzle to do. And whilst saying that, I bet you think, oh, this man must be great at Rubik's Cube. I have no Rubik's Cubes. I can't do a Rubik's Cube, never been able to solve one. I know there's like a method to the madness, but I've always wanted to figure out the method to on myself. You know, they're like, aha, I finally cracked the code. Probably pride mostly that's made me do that. But either way, yeah, never been one to Google the answers, and I've never been able to figure out the answers. So yeah, eventually I'll figure out. Eventually I'll solve a Rubik's Cube. Just gotta keep going at it, you know. I know today may not be the day. I don't have a Rubik's Cube for one. But someday, you know, keep going at it. It's always just a matter of time before you get these things. As long as you just keep at it, really, you can do anything. And I have to say that because I want to make films, and that's a bit of a hard area to get into, huh? Without contacts, anyway. I'm from the south coast. There's a little bit of bits and bobs, but not too much there to actually film off of. Not too many places you can get experience from. I am now at a bit of a loss. We've got a lot of little loose bits. We've unravelled a lot. I may have to stop speaking here, so I'm going to be fast forwarding a bit, and I don't know, you'll see the time lapse, I guess. Future Max here. First of all, the noise sounds god awful if you actually hear it. But yeah, here I'm literally just for ages just twisting and turning, finding little weaving bits, and there somehow the wire accidentally flipped the camera around to the roof. I thought it was going to be like that for ages. I was terrified to look back at the recording, but no, we were actually good. It was only like that for a minute. And a few bits, you may notice I get my t-shirt up. A few bits, if they're too hard or sharp to do, get you a t-shirt or something, like a bit of fabric, or gloves. You should probably wear gloves doing this. I didn't, again, and I've got a few cuts on my hands and stuff, so just for safety reasons, you should wear gloves. I'm not going to wear gloves because I don't listen to my own advice, Probably because I'm an idiot. But still, as you can see, I'm just slowly getting bits and bobs untangled. This hopefully won't be necessary for your projects if you choose to make something similar. Because, you know, you don't have a clump of wire, I do, so... Okay, so it's been a bit, probably too long, honestly. I don't know the time. Yeah, I need to head off soon. As you can see, I've made a great progress on it. A lot of extra bits. I got some nice long bits of wire. Got a lot of little bits as well. And with this is just all about focusing on one at a time and then just following it down slowly and weaving it. And like here, right? There's like a clump. So if I just slowly and start doing one, then oh look, got another bit off. Nice. It is literally just that simple. Sometimes it is a bit tricky, and I've probably got tetanus from this. That's a joke. I think it's been left inside, and the wire's not old, so I don't think I'll get tetanus. I don't know how that works, but you know, I don't think I'll get tetanus. Probably. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It's quite simple. You just got to keep doing small tasks until eventually you've realised you've done a big task, you know? It's kind of like doing anything, really. Keep at it, just do bit by bit. And then eventually it all just kind of comes together. Never think, you know, aha, I'm going to do this whole thing. Just be like, oh, I'm going to do this little bit. I'm going to untangle this one wire. Or, you know, I'm going to write a chapter. Or I'm going to go for one day of work. You know? Then, after you've done that, you've got one thing done. And then you can go on to the next. And if you, what I find, if I'm stuck on one bit, so like here, I can't really get it. I lied, I can get this bit off, but still, either way, I'm going to continue for the metaphor's sake. Start work on the next bit. I have actually got this bit off now. But, you know, if you get stuck, move on to a different area. Eventually it comes together. I'm not sure if that advice probably doesn't make much sense. It makes sense in my head, you know. Just keep doing stuff. Work, and what I do, really bad advice. I usually have multiple projects going on at once. So, for example, I've got the Wireman project on the work, but I also have the script. This is going to be a sequel, no big chunk. This is going to be a sequel to Ryan, the movie I made. It was one of my favourite ones. I've got to stop saying I say that a lot. Ugh. But yeah, Ryan's one of my favourite movies I've ever made. This one is not going to be quite the same because it is going to be, hopefully, not a found footage. Though I could make it into a cool found footage movie, which would be very cool now I'm thinking about it. But either way, I don't want it to be a found footage movie. I want this to be a real movie. And there's going to be a few found footage-esque bits. I'm hoping, I've been thinking about this really interesting little thing where I can do, where I am going to try to film it in really low quality. So like purposefully, like, bad quality. Because I think the way the quality will be, it will kind of, how to put it? It'll make it so the bits where it is like, what the fudge is going on, it'll make those bits stand out more because you're looking at it and you're like, wait, no. I can't actually see this clear enough to know what's going on here. But I can tell that freaky wire man is watching me. Or something like that. You know, it'll just, yeah. And there's going to be one bit near the end where I'm going to have to use some practical effects, probably going to look terrible. However, if it looks terrible on low quality, if it looks terrible in real life, it may look half decent in low quality, which is my hope. But I will end it now. Yeah. Also, it's good. It's okay to look terrible, like in general as well. You know, I actually look pretty good. But I'm still in my pajamas. You know, you don't have to make yourself look all cool. You know. But more with like things. Your work, your art doesn't have to look good. It doesn't have to be good at all. The Wireman movie I made, that is you got a bunch of like, you know, bits and bobs which just, if you actually look at it, terrible. You can see my arm in multiple shots. It was so bad at one point. Look at that. Oh. I was so bad at one point that I had to go through. If you look, there's a section where I've edited the background in, so you can just see my cut off hand holding the Wireman together because he was kept falling. You can fail and fail and fail and fail, and your things can look ugly and ugly and ugly. You know, eventually it will look half good, and then it will look good, and then soon enough it will be absolutely amazing. And that's, you know, kind of how everything is. Sometimes it's terrible, but you know, just keep going at it. Try. Fail. Then it's decent. Good. And then you're an expert. I hope. No, I say I hope, but you know, I've like screenplays and stuff. I've wrote a few. I've got good amount. I should start entering them places. I kind of just wrote them and then let them sit. So I'm gonna edit through them and now I actually know where to put them. I'm gonna send them to places. But they get better. Everything gets better. My first book was some very, very strange book. So disappointed in that book, honestly. But I still have it because when I think my writing's bad, and I look back and I go, oh wait, no, it was bad. It's now not that bad. I don't know. I am going to leave it here. Just, it's actually quite satisfying. Again, like I said, I like untangling stuff. Wire is very fun. Very fun to untangle. Yeah. So if you do mess up, it's fairly easy. Just kind of do what you did to get it into that situation, but in reverse. You know, if you twisted it around around another bit of wire or around something, just twist it the other way. It will, like if you look here, it's gonna leave some marks. But still, at the end of the day, where do I put this now? Got this Eldridge wire abomination, biblically accurate wire. Yeah. I don't know. I do have to go because I've been here for too long. So, see you in the next episode. First of all, that's really cool. It can spin. Again, I keep forgetting it can spin. Also, I probably shouldn't have done that on my phone.